And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 7th of July 2022. You're very, very welcome to the Chatbox Business Breakfast Show. And what a show we have for you this morning. What amazing timing it seems to talk about the big reset. Planned this a few weeks ago based on a whole host of things that are going on in the world. Didn't know it would be so topical, but lots and lots to talk about, my friend. Lots of discussions to have, and lots of engagement, hopefully, from our lovely audience.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, welcome everybody. Glad to be here. It's that Thursday morning. I don't know how many shows we're in it now. We're certainly probably pushing 130 different shows that we've been doing on our Thursday mornings, talking to the world, collaborating, sharing, bringing great guests on, talking about all different topics. As you say, this morning is all about the big reset. And it come from some previous conversations we were having on the show with various guests about challenges as well as successes, but challenges what business owners typically are finding. And we know this is obviously affecting everybody in some walk of life, wherever you are in the world, because there's been kind of an economic downturn, blamed possibly on things maybe we would say we're here in the UK would be blamed around Brexit, the pandemic, obviously rising costs, living costs, fuel going through the roof, and that's a global thing as well. It's not just here in the UK. We think we're hard done by here with petrol prices, which we will talk about later. But in some parts of the world, it's extremely high, and the jump has been enormous compared to what we've experienced here. And of course, electricity costs and gas costs are going up and up and up as well, which is making it tough for businesses. So that's what we're going to explore today. Are we in this perfect storm? Is the bubble about to burst? Are we going to experience something none of us have ever experienced, or maybe not experienced for a long time? That's what this morning's show's about. It's not all doom and gloom. Of course, we're going to be picking these media stories, which some of you say, well, it's just media hype. That's not what it's like there. You know, it's not really like that out there. Well, tell us. Pop your comments into the chat. Tell us your experiences. Tell us what's happening in your life, in your world, because we'd love to know. Let's share that with everybody else. Let's have lots of positivity, but let's also get to the bottom of this and decide between us this morning what the next step on the ladder consists of.
It makes a lot of sense. Right. One thing I know for sure, certainly young-ish businesses, they're not afraid of change. Okay, the word pivot was used hugely over the last 2-3 years. Most businesses have looked at what's going on and altered in one way or another. I know for sure mine has. And for me, I look at it and it's not, it's tough, but it's not all doom and gloom. There's as most businesses out there, and please share your stories with us. We'll look at where are the opportunities. Be delighted to hear from you either on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or possibly Twitter this morning. Pop some suggestions in the chat. What opportunities have you seen? What are you doing? How are things going for you? Let's get this show interactive and get the conversations flowing. But for me, I've got to look ahead at the opportunities. Yeah, perfect storm. Okay, a massive amount of change. And we're all undergoing, but what are the opportunities for me? Because my business has changed. Certainly my training business has changed massively. Now, I do a lot more consultancy than I've done in the past. I've not done an in-room, person-to-person training event since the start of the pandemic. Right? Wow. I've done a lot of stuff online, but either there's not an appetite from an organizational point of view to get a room full of people. It might come back, but I can't sit around and wait for it to come back. So there's massive changes around the communication space that I work in. Still speak at events, but not those kind of intimate in-person training, corporate training events. Yeah. And then at some point we'll talk about AI and how powerful that's getting, what solutions that can deliver that currently, it takes a human to do it, not for much longer. Exciting, huh?
Very exciting, yeah. Lots to learn this morning. Lots of stuff that we can talk about. But yeah, as Nick said, feed your comments into us, pop them into the chat on whatever platform you are watching this, and hopefully, well, I know you will be enjoying the show as well. But of course, if you do want to drop us an email, you can also email us at hello@chatboxproductions.com. We're monitor the emails coming in this morning. So if you've got something that won't fit into the chat, then send it across on an email. If you've got an attachment you want to share with us, maybe an image, maybe something positive, then let us know. And we'll see if we can pop that into the show as well. More importantly, joining us later on the show as well, we have a friend of the show, Jacob Reddy. Is a young, talented musician. Some of you may have seen some of the stuff that we've been putting out onto the social platforms over the last week about how Jacob has crafted a new, we're going to call it an anthem for StreamAid, which Nick and I are involved with. And we've got Jacob on here talking a little bit more about that, how he came up with the ideas, the reasoning behind it, where it's up to, because it's only been out less than a week, and how we're seeing figures and numbers, and how you can find it and download it and enjoy it as well. But that's more to come later on in the show. We're going to end on a big positive vibe. So that's going to be where we kind of say thank you and see you next week. But we're going to do that later on. But Nick, let's go back to the big reset. Inflation, 9.1%, all-time high for 40 years. As I said earlier, the cost of living, cost personally, to us as homeowners, as, putting food on the table, covering our rent or mortgage costs, transport and logistics costs are going up and through the roof as well. We know about electricity costs. Lots of us are experiencing that. And then prices are exploding as well. I mean, there's going to be a cap of up to £3,000 added on October. Some people's bills, electricity bills, have gone up 3-4-fold already. And we're going to talk that going up even more. How is that sustainable? Is it sustainable? Or is that bubble going to burst? And I appreciate the governments, which we'll talk about shortly as well, are helping to some sort of level and degree by giving out handouts. It's probably the best way to describe it. They're going to start rewarding. I think it starts later this month and into August, but you're going to start seeing money flowing back into your bank accounts if you meet a certain criteria. And I'm not Martin Lewis here. He'd be the person to turn to for this advice. But it's up to, in some cases, based on means tested, there's up to £1,200 available back as kind of a grant, i.e. free money. But that's not going to fix the problem. That is just putting a plaster over the wound short term, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the message, I think you'd be very surprised if there's many people watching that haven't got some issues that they need to deal with at work and at home. And these issues vary from person to person, but most of them aren't very positive. Right? Stuff's going up, okay? And unless you're selling that stuff and making massive profits, then it's tough, right? Really, really tough. So as a business owner, right, imagine if you and I, right, our business was something to do with logistics. It'd be very difficult to plan 6 months ahead, saying, right, what are we going to do for in 6 months' time, what's it going to look like? Do not know. I really don't know, but there'll be other organizations out there innovating around these kind of issues, coming up with solutions, right? So maybe some planning solutions that will hopefully mitigate some of the issues that are coming, right? So what does a communication trainer do, right? What does the next 6 months look like? So, and I'll take advice from anyone, AI and beyond, right? Oddly enough, a lot of my, I used to help, right, business leaders communicate to their audience, right? And you do the same, mate, right? So, you've got to make a speech, you've got to present, you're working from stage. I'll help you craft your message or get better at it. Okay, now I help organizations put really effective stuff on YouTube. Okay, animated, infomercial, really punchy, really cool messaging, but on YouTube, the human bit is less prevalent. So maybe my business has to change.
Maybe what we should be doing is pick up the phone to Boris, because in a time of need, he might need some training to help him through well, let's say the challenging obstacles and obstructions in his path. Today will be an interesting day, but let's pick up on a couple of the comments coming into the inbox. Tony, good morning, and thank you for your comment here. This isn't a cost of living crisis, it's a cost of lockdown crisis. Some would say it was inevitable, but it will pass. It's all part of the economic cycle. I kind of agree with that. Everyone's got an opinion here, and I do agree with what you're saying there, Tony. But is it all to do with lockdown? I think this is already starting. It was already happening, and it is part of. You're right. It's a cycle, and we see this kind of go a period, maybe 10, 15 years, and then history repeats itself. And as much as we can learn from past, sometimes the inevitable cannot be stopped. I think we're always seeing these kind of resets that come into play. It's kind of right. Let's put the playing field back to some sort of level. Let's get realistic. Everything's kind of blown up out of control. And I think that's where we are. I just think this one has been fueled by the pandemic, and it's made it even worse. It's been fueled by the war in Ukraine, which is making it even worse. I heard on the grapevine, Karen on Facebook told me that what's happening is with fuel now, or oil coming from Russia, that's, we're saying, right, we're not going to take it anymore for obvious reasons.
You heard this. You heard this on Facebook, right?
No. I read this, and this was in the news, the Telegraph that I do subscribe to. And there is rumours, and it is rumour mill stuff. It's rumours, it's media hype as well, that now we're having to buy all-out oil from Saudi Arabia. So they've upscaled their production by 50 million barrels, per day. So it's not small, insignificant. But what that's done, it's pushed costs up, the demand. Now, a barrel of oil is around about, someone will probably quote me to the penny, to the dollar, about $120 a barrel. They're talking about this going up 3 times. So we think fuel is expensive now. If that was to happen, fuel would probably be double the price, if not 3 times the price that we're aware of at the moment. So that's something to keep an eye on. Maybe invest in stocks and shares in fuel. Just make sure it's from Saudi Arabia.
Everyone's just leaving the show right now, mate, and jumping into their cars, go to their local petrol station to fill up before the rest of the world hears this. Right?
Look, this is not hot off the press. This was in the news earlier this week. Grant's put a really interesting comment. 51 ministers have now resigned. I know it was on the up, but 51. There we go. That is just staggering. I'm sure that's got to be now the fall of the government and change. The big reset, which wasn't the reason we set this up. We wasn't here to talk about government falling and the reset from that perspective. But that is just now more fuel on the fire.
It's bonkers, isn't it? When you look at what's going on, which generally, but you flick to the news, and for a long time, the news has been filled with negativity, right? Because I guess that sells more news. But what's going on in government right now, I've never seen anything quite like it. Quite the level of kind of stubbornness at one end and the level of unhappiness. Imagine if that was I don't know, any other business. Right. If your business does something daft or does something wrong, people will vote with their feet and they'll stop using your service. Right. Unless you've got great PR and you can apologize and you make amends. Any business out there, I defy any business owner right now to look at the situation that's going on in Westminster and think that's being handled well. No entrepreneur is going to look at that and go, "Oh, I've learned some really powerful lessons here, that are positive." Amazing, absolutely amazing. But things are looking up, mate, on the Nick training front. Thank you, lovely Emma from the National Trading Standards Estate and Letting Agency team. They'll be in touch soon for some fantastic Nick Looby training at one of their team meetings. So it's getting quick, ladies and gents. If you want some of my magical training. Right,
it's fully booked. It's going to be fully booked.
Right, the bookings have started again. Come on. Not only did I have to go to Snowdon and run up mountains, things are looking up.
That's coming. We're going to share that story shortly on the show as well. Don't detune. Go anywhere else. Carry on eating your cornflakes, your Weetabix. If you're brave enough to put beans on them as well, as Nick did in the past about a year ago, don't go anywhere, because we're going to be sharing Nick's story of what happened on Saturday this week.
Do not resign from the show yet.
No.
Stay in post.
Stay in post. Let's just quickly just go back to this whole government change that I believe is happening, and is happening very, very quickly. Will he last the day? Some will say it'll be Monday.
Will he last the show?
Well, will he last the show? Some will say it'll be Monday before another no confidence vote is put into place. They're having to change the law to be able to do another vote of no confidence. So he might get through till Monday. But put that to all to one side. Business owners listen to this show, or if you work within an organization, if you have lost faith in your leader, or you are the leader and everybody around you has lost faith, or such a big proportion, would you carry on? Would you keep pushing forward? Do you think what you're doing is right, even if other people are saying, no, it's not? Are you that stubborn and arrogant and ignorant just to go, I don't care what anyone says. I'm made of tough old boots. I'm going to carry on and do what everyone says I shouldn't do? Because that's how I look at this. Is he really achieving anything? I don't want it to be a political show, but I'm trying to link it back to business. If you saw flaws, if you saw issues, if you saw holes in your business, you wouldn't continue with the momentum. You would make change, surely. You'd listen to the advice, to the knowledge and experience around you. Would you, Nick, or would you just trundle on and do what you think is the right thing?
Most businesses have a board of directors, and the big businesses have shareholders, right? That will have an opinion that holds sway. You know, Steve Jobs was ousted from the company that he formed. Okay, so if that can happen, then anything can happen, right? In football, if the manager loses the dressing room, right, and the players get disgruntled for whatever reason, the manager doesn't last long, right? So, and I think if your business starts to suffer because the leader is making mistakes, then it's time for a rethink, right? Look at Gerald Ratner, okay?
The rise and fall, yes.
Yeah, said some stuff, business fell apart, right? That's because the general public voted with their feet, business over, right? If you don't act quick, right, your business massively suffers. Imagine if Boris hangs on till the next general election.
I think this could get me in trouble saying this, because if it happens, I could be in the frame. I have to make sure my alibi is watertight. But there's a good chance if he was to try and do that, he'd be assassinated. People have been assassinated for a lot less. So there is a chance that if he doesn't wake up and smell the roses, that's what will happen. I fear for him that he's digging himself the biggest hole ever possible. Have we ever had a leader, if that's what we want to call him, in this position, doing what he's doing? And I think the answer is no. I'd love someone to tell me differently, but he's not. We look weak now. In certainly with the whole conflict with Russia that's going on, we as a nation appear weak. We can't control our own, and the government is falling apart. And as you said, Nick, in a business, if that was somebody, they'd be ousted and sacked, no questions asked. So why is he still in power?
On the other side of the coin, though, right? Businesses, certainly young, entrepreneurial kind of tech businesses, investors will look at the founders, right? They'll look at the personalities, right? People will want to work for strong leaders, right? So if you are a strong, positive, run a really cool business, people are going to want to come and work for you. Okay, and I think there's certain value in a charismatic leader who can communicate well and does the right thing. But when the wheels fall off, right? It's those benefits are no longer of the value they used to be. And who knows what happens in the future or in the next 20 minutes, 40 minutes.
We will report live as it unravels.
Keep us posted, Grant. Let us know what's going on out there in the world of politics.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's just, for most of us businesses, it's just a distraction, right? Thinking, well, come on, sort yourselves out. For a long time, businesses' attitude has been just let us get on with it. Right? Just get out of my way. I want to run my business, and this is quite a distraction for most of us.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to Grant as well from Essex Wildlife Trust. Grant is the corporate manager, friend of the show, been on the show before, and actually we adopted and pledged and signed up to the Essex Wildlife Trust. And in the coming weeks, I think we're just trying to set the final date and time. We're meeting up with Grant to receive our certificates of authenticity that we are part of the Wildlife Trust Foundation. We look really forward to that, Grant. We will film it and we will share it with you here on the show when we take a bow and take our pledge to support the Essex Wildlife Trust. Let's just change the show back to a little bit around food, the cost of living. I saw in the media, I'm a big reader, by the way. This is where I get a lot of my intelligence from, and of course by talking to people as well. But anyone, like Lurpak butter? If you're a Lurpak butter fan, shoppers are outraged as the tub of Lurpak goes up to £9 plus. £9 for your tub of butter. That's expensive spread on your toast in the morning, isn't it? Not only that, but here's a quick image. They're tagging the butter with security tags because now people are wanting it. There we go. This is in Asda's where they've got security tags actually on the Lurpak butter. Unbelievable. We're going to be picking up things like, insignificant things that we would have probably looked at in the past, and it's going to have a security tag on it because
that looks like it'll peel right off. That it looks like you could get your fingernail under there and peel that right off. Yeah,
of course we don't condone that practice here on the show. That would be classified as shoplifting, and then we could be kind of bought into that because you suggested they peel the labels.
I didn't suggest they do peel it. I just said it looks like it could be peeled right off.
Well, next they're going to have the ones that are wrapped round, like you get round a.
Imagine, right? Box, when you buy an expensive bottle of something, and they have to put it through that kind of magnet release mechanism. Imagine them doing that. In my local Asda, they've now got security tags on meat. Yeah, right? And they're kind of underneath, and the alarm will go off, and that's because someone's bought some steak. Woe betide, you want to buy some.
Yeah, they made a mistake by walking out with a tag.
Absolutely right. So it's very odd, right? Two things, okay? That butter has a security tag on, and you don't trust your shoppers not to bloody pinch it, right? It's butter, for Christ's sake. It's not. Let's say a luxury, It's a spread. It's not a big bottle of champagne. It's a spread.
Yeah,
the world's gone mad, mate.
You get arrested and you get a criminal record, go to court and get prosecuted and get done for shoplifting. And then when you're going for your next job, or you've got to declare that you've got a criminal, a criminal past. So what was it for? Oh, I stole a tub of Lurpak butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a slippery slope.
That was a slippery slope. I was going to go with that. I was going to say it's a greasy and slippery slope. Very good. Anyway, so yes, tell us what you are finding in your local stores that has changed, what's been tagged, what's gone through the roof in price. What is the cost of a loaf of bread these days, Nick? What
depends what loaf you want.
It's a standard medium sliced white loaf.
About a pound.
About a pound. Yeah, it's not a bad guess. I think you can get slightly cheaper than that, depending on the brand.
You can, and more expensive. Depends if you want
expensive. If you're going for your Warburtons or Kingsmill or something like that. But certainly going up. Of course, these all make up the produces and products that kind of determine where inflation goes. Inflation is pegged on things like food and our necessities to survive, and that's what drives inflation up as well. But 9.1%. Are we going to see that increase at the next report? And the Bank of England have warned for an economic outlook which is going to deteriorate. That's what they've said to us. Well, thank you very much for that.
Wow. I tell you what, they got some geniuses working in that office, haven't they?
I know. Number crunchers. They're good with calculators, of course.
They've just watched the start of the show, mate, and then they've reported back. Yeah.
What they need is AI. Because the AI can do it all for them. Story you've picked up here, Nick, in the week. Talk about AI. Let's put the image up on the screen here. Here it is. Cosmopolitan magazine. I can say I'm not a big reader of this. This is I believe it used to be more of a kind of a ladies' magazine.
It still is, mate. It still is. It's ladies' lifestyle fashion magazine. This particular cover, however, was created in 20 seconds by AI. I had no idea about this till I had a lovely conversation with the amazing Johnny Twos yesterday. We were talking about AI and the future of it getting very, very, very good. Instructions were lady walking on Mars, low camera angle, strutting, boom, done. 20 seconds later, you've got this image.
Look at that. Okay. It's amazing.
Slight warning to any graphical artists out there. If AI can do that in 20 seconds, right, what does the future of your business look like? How do you pivot your stuff so AI can't just simply replace you? Same with creative industries, right? According to Johnny, and Johnny works in the advertising world, AI can produce copy as good as most copywriters, right, in next to no time. So if you're potentially looking at a creative business, I think one of the big considerations is, what do I need to do that either stays ahead or does something differently to what AI can do? So I'm investigating now. I will report back in future weeks what I find. I'm investigating what AI can do from a language perspective. First question I asked was, what are some of the problems with human communication these days? And AI, right, instantly came back with, we're not listening to each other, we're not looking at body language, we're not all of the things that I've been talking about from stage. AI is fully aware.
Yeah, because that's what AI is doing. It's listening to us, it's monitoring us, it's looking at everything we do, we click, we send, we tweet, whatever it is. And that database, I mean, this is a bit like Terminator, isn't it? You know, I'm taking the termination part out of it, but it's gathering all this information. And at some point, it could use that against us. Pretty much what you've just said, though, Nick, going back to this whole AI story, creating the front cover of Cosmopolitan magazine. If you're a designer, should you be worried? I just think we need to kind of take that a bit wider. Whatever job that we do, are we screwed? Should we be worried that AI, that artificial intelligence, could and possibly will take over the job that we do? I mean, you can imagine it. There'll be Dave and Nick here that is controlled by AI. And we won't have anything to do with it. We're just put in there. These are the 7 stories that we're going to talk about today. And the AI just goes off, does all the research, gets the videos, finds the images, and hey, we have a cartoon version character of Dave and Nick. So we can sit and sip our coffee.
And the metaverse might be just like that, which in theory, what that means is we can put our feet up. Right. So in one way.
Good morning, Jacqueline.
Good morning, Jacqueline. Hello.
Thank you for joining us on the breakfast show this morning. Great to see you here with us.
So in one way, if AI gets, by the looks of it, gets awesome at all this stuff, it will mean a load of us won't have to work so hard. That's the positive future of it. Okay, how we earn our living is a different question, but we potentially will be free of the toil of work. I have no idea how we'll fill our time, though. I'll be interested to hear from the lovely audience. If you didn't have to work because AI took care of it, how would you fill your time? And I think, hopefully it's anything other than Candy Crush. Right? However, our technology has found brilliant ways, right? I think they're incredibly annoying, but brilliant ways to fill up our time. Right? And this, well, I call it, it's not really brilliant. It's a waste of time. However, it can eat up our time easy peasy. So if AI gives us more time, the tech can eat it up.
You know that all our listeners, viewers from the UK, all around the world, South Africa, North America, South America, Middle East and Far East, they're all watching us on social media?
Yeah. So okay. What has that done?
Just wanted to paint that picture. Do not close your accounts because Nick says it's a waste of time. Otherwise, we'll have no listeners and viewers.
You know my opinion, right, on technology. If it enables more human, brilliant. If it replaces human, I'm a bit concerned.
Just sticking on that subject, LinkedIn. You picked up this morning. This is just brilliant, isn't it? Let me pop this up on the screen. Just talk us through this, Nick, and you come across this, and then we'll put the reality to this. Here we go. You have to kind of peer out the side here.
There we go. Someone it made me giggle, right? Someone on LinkedIn, I'm happy to share. I'm starting a new position as cabinet minister. for the Conservative Party. Woohoo! Lots of open ministerial roles here in number 10. Great party culture. Hit me up. Very funny, right? Very funny. It made me giggle. Someone just taking the mick, of course. And there was a lot of comments, that
But this
similarly.
is the best bit. This is the best bit, that people were commenting underneath, like with congratulations. Some of them obviously using the standard hit a button, it puts it out there. But people are actually typing messages.
So a lot of comedy messages, right? Joining in with the fun, but then a lot of very automated congratulations. So and most business owners will know LinkedIn, it will tell you about someone's new role and then give you the option to click a button that says congratulations. And the funny side for me is those people that have clearly not bothered reading it but want to get noticed and have just clicked congratulations. All right. In future, people read. Right. Please do read what it is. Read some context before commenting. Yeah. Funny. Lots of fun. Lots of fun to be had.
Now, Nick, let's move on to something a little bit more kind of reminiscing of the weekend for you. I believe you have, you've survived because you're here doing the show. And people will understand when I say, how are your legs? Nick does have legs, by the way, just because we can only see the top half. He does have legs below, and he used them. Very beneficial this weekend. Nick, tell us what you got up to. I know those that watched the show last week will have an inkling of what is coming, but you promised you'd feed back what the Saturday challenge was like. Tell us a little bit about it, and we'll show a couple of little video clips as well to kind of set the scene and show how it all ended up.
Yeah, I promised to report from the mountain this time last week. I was heading down to lovely Snowdonia because it was the Ultra Trail Snowdonia, a series of runs. I was doing the 50K version. 50K version, okay, which meant...
I found this on the web for S of runs. I was doing the 50K version. Check it out.
Hello, Siri.
AI for you. She's going to tell us all about. I told you they're going to take over the show, and we haven't got to do anything. You just carry on, Siri. Tell us what happens.
I knew AI was good, right? But I'll have to whisper it, maybe, right? Because they're listening. So you're doing the 50K challenge, which required me to run or walk or crawl up three climbs plus 2 ascents of Snowdon itself. So 5 climbs in total, including a very technical, we call it technical and trail mountain running. It's where you need to kind of scramble up stuff. So you're holding onto rocks and you're pulling yourself up. That's a technical climb. 5 of those essentially over 50K. I promised I'd report. The reports are brief, but they get, as you would imagine, a little bit more pained as they go on. What have you got for us, mate? Which one you got?
Let's see you at the start line. You're at this point. You're super keen. You're eager to go. You're full of energy. Let's see how it all starts off. I'm going to try it on this video stream first. Let's just see how this works.
Here we are at UTMB Snowdonia. The rain has stopped. Fortunately, we're at the start, waiting for the action to begin. Spirits are high, carb loaded, pizza on board. We're ready to climb. I think it's that thing behind us, but you won't see it because the mist is still there. Horrendous weather overnight. 165K runners were pulled off the mountain and the race abandoned, so I'm hoping for much better weather today. Going to report from the mountain. Hopefully you'll be able to see me in the mist. Everything's crossed for an amazing tour. Bring on the mountains, bring on the fun and the adventures. And I'll be back on the race and at the end. We'll see how it looks. Bring on the fun.
Okay, you call it fun, Nick. That's fair enough. So that was the start. You, as you can see, you're kind of ready. You're roaring. The adrenaline is pumping. You're ready to rock and roll. And then you started to film some segments as we kind of went through, the 12 and a bit hours, wasn't it, in total? But
yeah, it was 12 and a half hours, mate.
A long old time, climbing, running, carrying stuff with you as well. Obviously, weather conditions and all of that come into play. So you got to, is it what you call aid stations?
Yeah, so there were 3 aid stations along the route where you can kind of refuel, take a breather, have a sandwich. It was amazingly organised, right? So hats off to all the team at Ultra Trail Snowdonia. Brilliant event, very well organised, very positive. So yeah, you come into the aid station and chance to fill up I run with a bladder for my fluid on the back, fill that up and take on some food.
There's a really good question. You run with a bladder. Obviously, you're taking on board fluids. I know you're in the middle of the wilderness, but do you have to empty your bladder?
So, oddly enough, right, it was such a demanding 12 and a half hours, right, throughout the whole event, I did one small wee.
One small wee? Because you sweated it out.
Right. And I considered us taking on, right, litres of fluid. Yeah, and my body clearly needed it.
Yeah. Well, let's see you at aid station 1. Here it is.
So here we are, checkpoint 1. 15k into the adventure. In theory, we've done the gentle hill. It was a monster. I got no idea. Well, actually, I do know what's coming. We cut that thing behind me. Is coming, and I think there's something bigger than that coming. But yeah, all good so far. Weather's really kind, and checkpoint 1 done and dusted. Bring on the next one.
Okay, so that's checkpoint 1. You're still looking very good spirits. I think there's a little bit of concern that one behind you is big, and you've just done something that was quite demanding.
Everyone was saying the first hill, gentle, nice, easy kind of option. I was looking at it thinking, this is bonkers. It was a monster, and this is the easy one. That was slightly concerning.
Okay, here we are at aid station 2. So we've now pushed on a little bit further.
Here we are, checkpoint 2, halfway. I'm told. If the first one was a monster, the last one was an absolute beast. You might be able to see it behind me. It might be that one. It might be that one. It was a monster. Unbelievable. But we're at the bottom of it. So the biggest one to go, which I guess we'll do twice. Right. See you at the next and final checkpoint. Bring it on.
So not just once, we're going to do it twice because once is not enough for
and a technical climb in between as well. I had no idea. Halfway we were. I had no idea that it was going to get so difficult. Right, left aid station 2, skipping our step, and it then got unreal.
So now let's look at the final aid station. So you're getting close now. That was halfway. You're getting close towards the end, if that's what you want to call it. Let's see you at the final aid station.
Last aid station done. Against the clock now. My running buddy isn't going to go any further, so one big climb to go. Let's see if we can get there before the race finishes. Oh, it was a behemoth, the last stage, and very technical. Right, let's see what we got left in the tank. See you at the finish.
Now, I don't know if I can reverse that, but on your left shoulder there, you've got an orange tag. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's a GPS unit fitted to our bags upon registration. Everyone had a GPS unit, so the team at the base camp could monitor exactly where anybody was at any time. Yeah. So if anyone got lost, no major issues. They'd track them down with GPS.
So just to be quite clear for our listeners and viewers, this is not like running a road race where if you just kind of follow the flow where everyone goes. You kind of and of course. Was it 600 in your group, something like that? I think you mentioned.
Yep.
So 600 of you all kind of start off staggered, and obviously different paces mean that you'll get to different places at different times and stuff like that. But they put a tag on you because you are on a mountain. There's a chance that you could disappear off the wrong direction, maybe because you just kind of I always, keep off the moors and stick to the paths, but you kind of disappear because to a degree, you're going to get, disorientated as well. So they tag you because when you do get lost, they can come pick you up and get you back to base. So that's what the tag's there for, because it is so challenging, it is so demanding. They need to be able to keep track of you.
Brilliant. When they had to pull 165k runners off the mountain at 4 a.m. because the weather was horrendous, they would have had to track people down, right, and guide them safer routes down the mountain. Many times on the mountain, I thought I wouldn't want to do this in the dark, and the 100k runners, 165k runners, were doing it in the dark twice. So hats off to those real athletes.
Yeah. Let's see the final. This is it. Crossing the line. Let's see how you fared after one hell of a challenge.
And it's done. In a long time. I'll have to work out how long that's taken, but it's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Hardest adventure I've ever been on by a long way. It's done. And I got a beer. Thanks for sticking with me. I'll report more on the show. Oh man, that's bonkers.
A beer at the finish, and there's the medal. There it is.
Yes.
So Nick, I have a little bit of music here just to play. Summarize that experience. Here we go. To summarize that experience.
It was amazing.
This is like Steve Wright in the afternoon.
This is. We went to beautiful Wales, and we found some mountains to climb, and my goodness gracious, we did climb them. Phenomenal. I'm no rush to do it again. My legs still give me pain, but delighted to finish. And my running buddy, right, who was going to pull out, left him before the last aid station. He was going to get the minibus. He'd had enough. He had nothing left in his legs. Got to the finish, right? My drop bag, all the dry gear you leave at the end to change into, right? Went to get it. Sitting next to my drop bag was my mate's bag. He's not back. So I had to go to the officials, the GPS dudes, say, my mate, where is he? Still on the mountain. Right, someone had convinced him at the last aid station, you're so close, you can do it. Started trekking up Snowdon again. So beer in hand, right, dry gear available, but dry gear can wait, beer can wait. Turned around, trotted back out there to go and find him, to help him home. An unbelievable experience. Superb. Recommend it. Any runners, any mountain fans, sign up. It was phenomenal.
Well, there you go. Nick, congratulations on that. Certainly challenging experience. I like the way you say you can recommend it. Of course, if you're a super athlete like that, then people are going to, go for them sort of challenges. And people are, coming in here, Jacqueline's, but you are the real athletes. Absolutely, Nick. I don't think I could do 5 kilometers of what you
Too kind.
There. Emma's popped in there. Great clips. Us Welsh clearly know how to show you a good time. Absolutely well done. You are flipping awesome. Our runs together are clearly more enjoyable. Because actually when you're working with Emma, you do go out for a morning run, don't you? And that is, if you're in Wales, it's up and down mountains anyway, because it's like that in Wales, unlike Essex, which is pretty flat.
Like a lot of business journeys, oddly enough, and it says this on the medal, right? It's beautiful beyond belief, savage beyond reason. Right? How many business owners can relate to that? Beautiful beyond belief, but savage beyond reason.
Great tagline. So well done on that. There's more challenges to come, no doubt, in the coming future for yourself, Nick, and no doubt we will be challenged by others that come on the show, as we have in the past, to do some weird and wacky things. Next year, I've kind of got myself into wing walking. That'd be an interesting one. Filming that at whatever it is, 10, 12,000 feet. We'll have a bit of that. That sounds like fun, adrenaline pumping. Much easier than, climbing a mountain, of course, but still got the same thrill and experience.
I'd rather do the mountains again, mate, than that. Isn't it funny?
That's good. That's good. I'll do the adrenaline stuff. You can do the tough stuff. Okay, well, that could be our deal. Right, a few shout outs, because very shortly we're going to bring our guest onto the show. We've promised to bring on a talented musician to tell the world why the world is ours, and why we should be considering what we do and how we treat the world, and why this individual come up with a fantastic music clip. Before we do that, a couple of little shout outs. First one is Spring into Business Expo. Nick and I are there next week, and 14th of July. We're going to be in Colchester at the Brentwood Expo, run by the amazing Aaron Desmond and his team at Network in Essex. So if you're out and about, if you are an Essex-based business, or you can travel, to that venue, come along 10:30 till 3 o'clock. Nick and I have got a stand there. We're going to be talking to so many of you, encouraging you to come on and share your stories on the show. And so if you are around, come and find us. Come and have a chat and a conversation with us. We would welcome that. And of course, if you are walking past, and I take black coffee, no sugars. Nick is a more of a white coffee latte man. We'd always welcome a coffee, because it will be a kind of a long day and lots happening.
Excellent. We're also doing some networking middle of next week as well, mate, at your favourite venue, Grid Serve. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're at Grid Serve. Now, I think I gave you the wrong date, Nick, so I'm just going to clarify for everybody that's listening. It's the 20th, Wednesday the 20th. Did I send you that one, Nick? I can't remember, but it's Wednesday the 20th at Grid Serve in Braintree, which is the world's first electronic charging forecourt. You don't have to be an electric car owner to come along there and participate, but come along. We're going to some great networking. Nick is our guest speaker, talking about all things human-centric and communication-based. So it'd be great to have you along to that.
So it's not this Wednesday coming, no?
No, I gave you the wrong date. I tend to be super organised and have everything electronically diarised. And I did send it to you, but I don't think you've accepted it at the moment.
Okay, that means I'm going to have to scribble something out in my paper diary.
I know. If please, everybody, tell Nick he needs to get something a little bit more kind of, modernised, artificial intelligence driven, where he can have an electronic diary and not an old-fashioned.
Definitely do, right? That's part of this business evolution for me. And a quick shout out to the amazing RSA, right? We're talking about the big reset, the RSA, the Royal Society of Arts, Manufacturers and Commerce. I am a fellow. Hopefully, David, you'll be a fellow at some point soon. We invite you to be part of this change. Join our community. Together, we'll unite people and ideas to resolve the challenges of our time. Right, and we've been talking about various different challenges. The RSA, great group of people, fantastic organisation. I was there yesterday, and the whole focus is about how do we solve some of the biggest challenges that we face right now and face coming in the future.
Excellent. And if you want to find out more about the RSA, obviously you can go and look at the website, or get in touch with Nick, and he can tell you about it. He can invite you to join and be a fellow too. So I'm looking very forward to my personalised invite to join the RSA. Right, I think that's the shout outs that we've kind of got there and mentioned. So if you want to find out any more about anything we're talking about here on the show, do get in touch with us through the chat, or ping us an email to hello@chatboxproductions.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to be on the show, you can go to chatboxproductions.com and you can go and click the button, join the show, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, why you do it, and we can then get you on here at some future point to share with everybody. And what an opportunity that is. And we welcome that. So if you've got a story to share, good or bad, come on and tell us about it. That's what it's all about. Right, we're going to take a quick ad break. And when we get back, we're going to bring our singer-songwriter onto the show and find out a little bit more about The World Is Ours. We're back straight after this. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's an exciting show this morning. I'm David Bell, joined here live in the studio. Well, our virtual studio with Mr. Nick Looby. We've had a great show so far for those that have been with us, but you've got to the point where this is super exciting. Great friend of the show, been on a few times in the past. We've done some other great stuff with him on our Stream Aid Live platform as well, which we're going to touch on and tell you a little bit more about now. But I want you to give a big, warm welcome to our guest this week, Mr. Jacob Reddy. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning. Hello. How are you doing?
We're very well. We're very well. How is it up there in the north of the country? We've got a bit of cloud here. The sun is not shining, but it's still pretty warm. Is it raining there? Because it always seems to rain up north when I go up north.
It does always seem to rain. That is kind of one of our main characteristics, but it's surprisingly nice at the moment. It's a little bit sunny, actually. Not too much, just a little bit.
You're doing better than we are.
You've heard it. You've heard it here first, ladies and gents. It's a bit sunny up north and a bit cloudy down south. This is why people tune in, you know, for up to the date, right? The latest info. Right?
Absolutely.
Ministers have resigned. Let us know.
There was a great song by KLF. Probably just before your times, Jacob, because you're young. But KLF, Nick might remember them. But they had a song, and it was Grim Up North, or it's Grim Up North. KLF. Mm-hmm. There we go. But that's not true because it's the opposite today. It's Grim Down South instead.
I mean, it's not exactly. It's not like summer holiday weather here. It's nice in comparison to what we normally have.
Yeah, but you're in your studio there this morning, Jacob. Let's pick up on a bit of your backstory and why we've got you here today. We met last year.
Yes.
You was out on a busking tour, and I saw a live stream on Facebook in Ely. So if anyone from Ely is watching this, Jacob was busking, but you weren't busking. Well, you were busking for money, but you weren't busking for your own health and well-being money. You were busking for a great cause. Tell us a little bit about that cause and what that tour, because it was a tour, it was a busking tour, what that entailed last August, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. So we went out to raise money for a local children's hospice called Darien House. They were a charity who looked after my brother, so they've always been close to my house and close to my family. So we thought I'd set out to basically to busk in every city in England over the course of 21 days. So there were 51 cities. Sorry, 22 days, 51 cities in 22 days. It was a very busy few weeks, but it was definitely good fun. And as you say, all the way around to many, many different places.
Yeah, it was a great tour. And that's where we picked up your talents. Not that we're talent scouts or anything like that, but I saw it and I thought, this is amazing. And the story was there as well. So we got you onto the Chatbox show last September, I think it was, end of August, beginning of September, to give us an update. And since then, I like to use the words, we've become great friends and great advocates of what you do. And you've become a friend of the show and you've come back on and kind of continued your story and your journey. But Nick and I then got involved in putting together something called Stream Aid Live. We've got some other great founders of that, Mr. Keith Smith, who will be sleeping at this time because he's over in the USA. So here is, well, knowing Keith, he's probably up actually. May King as well. And we have a few other guest founders that help us to get Stream Aid Live up and running. And we asked you to come along and be part of that journey because we love what you did and how you shared that message. And we asked you to write a song. Tell us a little bit about the song. We asked you to write a song that would become the anthem for Stream Aid. And we set you kind of a challenge, but you didn't let us down at all because you can't do something amazing. We will play it. But tell us a little bit about the song and how you come up with the idea and how you formed it with a great partnership as well.
So the song's a song called The World Is Ours. And initially I was thinking about writing the song and I thought, because of what it's for, I wanted it to have a bit of an extra kind of kick to it, if that makes sense. So I went to my friends and an alt rock band who go by the name of Nova Story, who themselves are very, very much into helping the world. And they, for example, they run their own eco-friendly studio that they've built completely by themselves. So I asked them if they wanted to basically be part of the song. So we ended up writing this song together and coming up with this song. And now we've got to the point where it's now out there.
Yeah,
It's,
released last Friday.
For us, most definitely, it's the anthem that represents a kind of a positive take on how we move forward, based around all things climate. And all show we've been talking about the Great Reset. Part of the Great Reset is what are we going to do about some of the climate crises that we are faced with, and this is the anthem to kick us all into action. Jacob, isn't that right? This is our lead song that will kind of generate more momentum than ever before for all of those of us who, quite rightly, are very keen on doing something about the environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, making people aware. It's awareness is what we want to raise here, because it's all the small things that add up to be the big things. We can't change, the huge things as business owners overnight. I don't think anyone can make huge change. But if we all do something, with your contribution, Jacob, writing a fantastic anthem, which is going to get people's ears pricking up, listening. And of course, behind it is a cause. Great for you as a young artist and musician as well. Because how old are you, Jacob? Come on, tell everybody.
17.
17 years old. And just broken up for your college break as well. So you've got some time on your hands.
Yeah, just finished. This is the first week of the holiday for me. I've had my sister's still at home for another month as well, so it's yeah.
Fantastic. Are you going to be writing, more music now in the next 12 weeks that you've got off, whatever it is? Is this now time for you to sit down, get your pen and paper out, or probably your iPad and stylus, and start to kind of create new content going forward?
That is the plan. I'm trying to find stuff to do to fill the long period of time. So yeah, definitely going to be getting some more writing done and getting more playing and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, brilliant. And also, if people are interested, obviously you've got other stuff out here. Is a copy of one of your latest singles, or one of your latest albums. This is, isn't it? It's got a number of different singles there. The Chronicles of a Studio Pest. All of this stuff, and we're going to share a link in a minute, but it's all available to access and download on Spotify. Other music channels, streaming channels do exist, of course. If you're into Apple Music or Deezer or whatever, Amazon, they all exist, and all your stuff is on there, which is fantastic. And I would highly recommend that people download and have a listen. And of course, they can find you on YouTube as well.
Yeah, they can go absolutely everywhere.
Jacob Reddy Music, it is, isn't it? That's what you're on the social channels as
yeah,
on Facebook.
And then all the various streaming places is just Jacob Reddy.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Should we hear? Go on, Nick.
When I was 17, right? If you wanted to hear music, you'd have to walk down to the record shop and buy a 7-inch single, or be listening to the radio with your fingers on play and record on the old tape recorder. How the times have changed. And unfortunately, we've got young talent to show us the way forward.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's the young talent, the future, that's going to be here when I'm probably 6 foot under. You're the ones that are going to be left with the world that we create, and that's why this has a big meaning, to us, to you, and the younger generation still to come as well. And that's what this is all about. So if you want to find out more, firstly about Jacob, more about what StreamAid is also doing and achieving, you can go to the website. This is all for Jacob's stuff. So streamaidlive.com/the world is ours. And that is hyphenated at the -world is ours. And everything is on there. And you can get to all the music, the Spotify links, download the tracks. Listen to that. I will pop that into the chat as well, so people just click away in a moment. Jacob, what's next now for you? It's promotion, I suppose, at this point in time with The World Is Ours, making sure people are aware of it. It's always the hardest thing.
Yeah, that's what's currently going on. It's getting the word, sending the song out to as many different people as we can, and hopefully getting, as you say, getting the awareness spread as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to do our best to achieve that this morning. It's been great having you back onto the show, Jacob, just to kind of touch base, but mainly because we want to talk about the future. And the future is now. And the future is the world is ours. Let's play this, Jacob. You're going to take us away. This is not a live performance. We have performed live in our studio before, where we've been here. But we're going to pop this up on the screen. We're going to watch the video that goes with it. And if you like it, please go and download it. Go to the link that's shared in the chat. Click it. Download it on Spotify, the preferred platform. Because we're really add it to a playlist. Share it with your friends. Comment on it. Whatever you can do to spread the word and get people listening to this, because this is the future. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Jacob, Reddy, thank you very much for joining us this week. Jacob, we're going to let your other self play us out.
Thank you very much.
Why does it feel so cold when it's too warm outside? Why do we turn away as the water starts to rise? Why do we push others down as we're floating in the tides? So what's the point in waiting if we just don't have the time? But we're standing in the fire. We can put it out if we keep on shouting. So show me you got the power to change. If it shines or showers, nothing can get in your way. The world is ours. We all do wrong. We've got to fix our faults before we criticize. It all starts with you. What's the point in choice if we can't decide? And we know it all along. It's all our fault that we close our eyes. We can hit restart. All you gotta do is look inside. You got the power to change. If it shines or showers, nothing can get in your way.
Jacob, Reddy, absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find out more about it, we encourage you to download, listen to that track as many times as physically possible. Share it with your friends, comment, and give us your feedback. We'd love to know what you think of that. That's it from us here in the studio. Once again, thank you, Jacob, Reddy, me, David Bell, and my good friend and co-host, Mr. Nick Looby. We're back this time next week, 8 o'clock. Until then, bye-bye.
Cheerio.
Bye.